Originally, I wanted this to be a work week in my life video, but that was just very much not in the cards this week. I also thought I was gonna get home from work today and film this clip with like my hair done and makeup still on, and honestly, my hair was so greasy. It didn't even look like a slicked back ponytail at that point. It just looked bad. So hopped in the shower. This is like take 5 of this vlog, and not entirely sure where it's gonna go, but we're gonna figure it out. I know I've mentioned this before, but I feel like one of my most common DMs is asking how I balance everything and how I do it all. And I feel like this vlog is prime example that I don't. Like, I, again, had every intention of filming almost every single day this week and had a bunch of things planned, and it just absolutely did not go that way. I feel like my work schedule really ebbs and flows. Like, there's weeks where I honestly work 25 hours, and then there's weeks where I work 50, 60 hours easily. And the last 3-ish weeks or so were definitely on the heavier workload side of things. And because of that, I just feel incredibly off balance, like in my personal life and working out, and every other aspect of my life feels off balance because it's been so skewed towards my 9 to 5. But I think I'm through the thick of it, and I'm excited for this weekend. I think I'm just gonna shift this to be more of like an unfiltered weekend in my life type vlog. I don't have any crazy plans or anything like super exciting, but figured I'd vlog it anyway. I feel like you guys have been preferring more like unfiltered, rambly vlogs anyway. I've also been out of town the last couple of weekends, so between that and just working more hours than usual, I am definitely down for a more chill, hang with friends, stay in the city type of weekend. But before I get like too heavy into the weekend, I wanted to take a couple of minutes to just sit down and organize like all of my outstanding to-do list. I'm looking at a note on my computer, and I started like writing stuff in this journal, and I have this calendar printed out, but like none of it is in one place. And I feel like there's so much that I have accidentally let slip through the cracks, and I just need to like put everything in one place and create like an actual plan to get it done and figure out what's realistic to get done this weekend versus like how I need to manage my time, if I need to take a day off work to do it, like just figuring all of that out. So I'm gonna take a couple of minutes to organize all my thoughts, and then I'll share my list with you guys and kind of how I plan to tackle everything. I talked about this process a really long time ago on my channel. It might have honestly been pre-COVID, and then once COVID hit, I feel like we all kind of lost track of like our entire lives essentially. And this is one of those aspects I haven't fully gotten back, like my productivity and scheduling and like goal setting. I feel like I was so good at pre-COVID, and then once the pandemic hit, I just never fully got it back. Point of that being, I feel like at one point I had a really good system set up on actually getting things done, and the first step of that was just writing out everything that needed to be done and kind of putting it in 2 categories. One being like the absolute must-haves for the week, or you know, whatever time frame you're working in, and then the second list being things that you'd like to get done but aren't necessarily on a time crunch. Big shout out to this notebook. Actually, I believe they're a DC based brand. I could be entirely wrong, but I want to say they're based in Ivy City. Unless I'm mixing them up with another brand, but it's called Appointed. I'll leave like their Instagram or something linked down below, but it's just a really nice, sturdy notebook. The cover's really nice. There's a ton of customization options. This was actually a gift to me from my boss, which was kind of out of character for him, but very sweet to do. And I was so impressed with like how on the nose his picks for me were. So mine's just in this like very neutral gray color. It has my initials here at the bottom in a rose gold, and I love how minimal the pages are. I feel like they're a nice weight of paper, especially being a designer. That's something I'm super picky about, and the pens don't smudge on it, which is huge for me. It's just, like I said, very minimal. I don't know if it's really focusing. And then in this bottom corner, there's a section for the date here, or like some sort of header. And obviously you don't need a nice notebook to be productive or to write a to-do list down. I write stuff on napkins and receipts and stuff like that all the time. I just love supporting local businesses whenever possible, so wanted to give them a quick shout out. But in no particular order, these are the things that are on my to-do list. The first one being this vlog, getting it edited, submitted for approval, and posted on time. The second thing on my list is sending a few emails about my new apartment. I didn't realize that I needed parking permits for the street, just because everywhere I've moved in DC, I've had access to a loading dock, or the building I'm in now isn't technically a loading dock, but it's such a private street that it's never been an issue in terms of like people needing access to the street. So I need to look into that a bit more this weekend, because that was just something I didn't even know I needed to do. And then I need to reserve the elevator for this building and formalize the move-in with my new building. I've like half done a bunch of things, but there's just like random outstanding things that I need to get done. I also have a couple of bills and parking tickets I need to pay. Some of those parking tickets I want to contest, and I've definitely missed the 30-day window on that, which just like was a result of having really busy work weeks. And another example of me just like not fully having it together is like looking at a parking ticket being like, this is my last day to pay it, and just not having the energy or the emotional capacity to do it, even though it would take me 5 minutes and save me money. Like, it's so dumb not to, but when you're at that level of just like burnt out and exhaustion, like sometimes you just can't. So need to pay those, contest the ones that I did actually pay for and it just like didn't sync with like Park Mobile, I don't know. And then alongside paying those bills, I want to update a tracker that I built. I am about to turn 26 and rightfully so get kicked off my dad's insurance. So I started tracking all of my doctor's appointments, all of my like co-pays, medications, like any health related expense, just on a spreadsheet on my computer, so that when I'm going through my open enrollment plan, I just have a better idea of like exactly what I need, because there's so many things that I guess I didn't even realize I was really doing, or like services I would want in a plan, or, you know, stuff like that. So I just need to update a couple of things there. I need to email my renter's insurance, because I had a crack in my stovetop that was completely my fault. So I ended up paying out of pocket to fix it before I vacate this apartment. And it was honestly so expensive. I don't even know if my renter's insurance could help me. I don't know exactly what that policy covers in terms of accidents and things like that, but it was something that was clearly my responsibility to fix and not my landlord. So that's why I paid for it. But I figured it doesn't hurt to reach out and just see, like, worst case, I already spent the money, you know. I need to submit photos for this couch actually behind me. I feel like I've mentioned this before on my channel. I didn't remember how much I spent on this couch until I looked it up the other day, because a few of you have DM'd me that you're interested in it, and it is a great couch. Like, it's beautiful, it's relatively comfortable. I just feel like the fabric hasn't held up as well as I hoped it would for the price, and considering how little I actually sit on it, like, you guys know I work full-time in the office, I travel a lot on weekends, I'm like out and about, like I just don't spend that much time on the couch. So I meant to reach out to Article in February about this when I purchased it last December, and again, that fell under the category of like, I'm exhausted, I can't get to this right now, and randomly found the will to message them yesterday, and the lady I talked to was actually really nice. I think that's why this couch was actually discontinued, is just because so many people were having issues with the fabric, that she opened up like a claim for me and said that they might be able to do something, or like even just like a little bit of money back and credit, or like having someone come out and service it maybe. I don't 100% know, and it honestly, nothing might come from it, but I want to go ahead and submit the photos for that tonight. The last couple things on here, I have my vote ballot that just came in the mail, so I want to go ahead and submit that this weekend. I want to film an apartment tour, which is feeling like the most daunting task on this list, because I have such a small window left in this lease to do that. And I filmed one like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and honestly, I didn't even look at the footage. I just feel like it's not the vibe that I wanted. Like, it was very structured, and I think I want a more casual apartment tour. So I need to think that through a little bit more. And then the last thing that was on my like immediate take care of list was just prioritizing my health this weekend. I really haven't had time to work out anytime recently because of traveling and just my work schedule and stuff like that. So I want to work out tomorrow and Sunday, and then just make sure that I'm prioritizing seeing friends and saying yes to things, like not staying in because I feel like I need to sit down and organize my life. Like, I can find other time to do that, and that actually is completely contradicting everything else I've said, but somehow we're gonna make both work. Something else I found really helpful when I have a lot on my plate is actually scheduling when I'm going to do things instead of just looking at a to-do list. Try to remember to leave a link to this specific printable down below. I like this one because it has a section up here for calendar, and then it also has a place to dump like random notes and your priorities. I kind of use these as one and the same, even though I wish I had separated them a bit more. but I primarily use this calendar for YouTube deadlines because, especially with sponsored content, like if I know a video is going live on Sunday, most of the time I have to get that to the brand by Wednesday for approval, which means I need everything finalized and filmed by Tuesday. And if it's a work week in my life, then I need the previous 5 days to film that, or whatever it is. So I like kind of mapping out when specific deadlines are. Like if this video is due Sunday, like this arrow means I need to film between these days. Or if I have any like random influencer events, I have one coming up, I think in 2 weeks from today. And I just want to double check that I have like all the deliverables and expectations for myself, just organized and good to go. That way I get there and can film whatever content they want me to film and, make sure that I'm meeting their standards of like inviting me to the event. And then I filled in any vlogs that aren't sponsored and kind of the rough concepts for them, like if I have any ideas for editing or little things like that, I kind of all just jotted down on here, which really helps me see it like visually in one place, I guess. And then I feel like my last step is taking the combination of the calendar and this list here in the notebook and putting it in my actual calendar that syncs to my phone. That way it holds me accountable and I have rough dedicated time to do everything. It's hard to find the balance of having like a carefree weekend and also trying to get a certain amount of things done. Now that I'm thinking about it more, I feel like none of what I said was helpful actually, and was all extremely intuitive, like write a to-do list and find time to do it. But I don't know, sometimes when you're overwhelmed, you just need someone to like really dumb it down for you. At least I do sometimes. So I think I'm gonna take the next like 2 hours or so to knock out some of these admin tasks, like any emails I need to send, any bills I need to pay. And then once I get through that, I'll just enjoy the rest of my night, go hang with friends and unwind for a little bit. Quickly, I wanted to say a massive thank you to this week's sponsor, HelloFresh. I feel like you guys are experts by now as well, but just in case you haven't heard, HelloFresh is America's #1 meal kit delivery service. The holidays are right around the corner and a super busy time of year for everyone, and having predetermined, pre-portioned meals delivered right to my door just helps me save so much time and effort, especially as I get ready to go home and travel and all that good stuff. There are over 35 weekly recipes, so you're sure to find something that will fit your taste palette, your budget, your lifestyle. They have boxes for 2 people, for 4 people. You can change how often they're delivered, or pause, skip a week if you're out of town, like I said, for the holidays. You can also swap sides or proteins to fit a certain diet or any preferences of yours. And quality is HelloFresh's priority. All of the ingredients are shipped from the farm to your door in less than a week. So these are the meals I picked out this week. I have a lemony spaghetti with Brussels sprouts, cheesy smothered mushroom chicken, and a sheet pan Dijon onion crunch chicken. I woke up thinking I was gonna want this spaghetti for dinner, but now that I'm looking at it, I might swap over to this onion chicken crunch. But before I get started cooking, I wanted to remind you guys that I have a promo code. Visit hellofresh.com and use code amyrauchyt60 for 60% off and free shipping. I'll be sure to leave all of that in the description box as well, but I'm gonna go ahead and figure out which one of these I wanna make, and then I'll show you guys the final product. I've had a pretty productive morning, as you guys saw. I feel like I need to overcompensate a little bit today because I did absolutely nothing yesterday, which is why there's 0 footage from yesterday. I had a ton of fun things planned and unfortunately hit it a little bit harder than expected on Friday night, and I'm feeling the repercussions of that still. Honestly, I don't know if I'm still hungover, I have slight food poisoning, or it's just my period, but regardless, the combination of the three is like, it's exactly what I deserve, but it's brutal. So I did absolutely nothing yesterday and need to get a ton of stuff done today. So woke up, went to the grocery store. I went and got coffee first, which you guys saw, just because I wanted to get something in my system. I forget the name of it. I think it's called Pluma. It's super cute, but extremely expensive. My iced latte and avocado toast was like $26 or $27 with not even like a super generous tip, honestly. Like just a crazy amount to spend on breakfast. But it was good. And then I ran across the street to Trader Joe's. I was planning on going to Harris Teeter after to get like a few other smaller staples that were brands that Trader Joe's just doesn't carry, but honestly was not feeling up to it. So I think I'll go later today. But I wanted to do a quick haul because I saw a couple comments in my last video when I was asking for video suggestions, and a few of you said either like Trader Joe's hauls, grocery hauls. Big disclaimer, y'all know the state I'm in right now. Like this doesn't make a ton of sense. I also don't follow like any diets. I don't have any like restrictions, or I guess like I don't think I have the healthiest food haul here. If you're trying to eat really clean or looking for a certain type of result, this is probably not the grocery haul for you. But this is a pretty average haul from Trader Joe's for me. And then, like I said, I normally go to Harris Teeter or like some other smaller grocery store just to fill in the gaps. So all of this ended up being $57. The first thing I picked up was just new eucalyptus for my bathroom. The one that's currently in my shower has been in there for probably 3 months, and it's just getting really gross, and people have been touring the apartment, so I just want to make sure it looks nice and fresh. And then in absolutely no order, I'm just going in the order that they packed it. The first thing I picked up was half a dozen large eggs. I've been trying to incorporate more protein in my diet. I feel like I just never really get enough, and I've been trying to balance my hormones a little bit more, and I think for my specific body, I need more protein than I'm currently putting in it. So I'm gonna try to start eating more eggs. I picked up a bunch of these little fruit leathers in the apple raspberry flavor and the apple apricot flavor. These are really good snacks. I really like these when I'm craving something sweet, but I'm not actually hungry, or I need something like quick before a workout. I feel like these are just good to have on hand. The next thing I picked up were a couple of these turkey chomp sticks. Again, really like having a higher protein snack, especially before working out. So I always try to keep some of these on hand. I picked up 2 of these Caesar salad kits, which aren't my absolute favorite, but I do think they're decent for the price. They're a little bit on the small side, but lately my appetite's just been like all over the place, and I haven't been super hungry for work at lunch. So I wanted to grab a couple of these just to bring into the office and have, so I'm not buying lunch every single day at work. That's something I need to get better at too. I've just been spending so much money eating out, and it's not even like meals that I'm enjoying. Like I'd rather save up my money and have one really nice meal out a week than keep getting like $14 salads. You know what I mean? So grabbed a couple of those. I grabbed a thing of cheese sticks. I just saw these and thought that they looked yummy. Got a pasta to have on hand. I picked up 2 lemons. I really like using these for when I'm making chicken or just like in water. I feel like I always have lemons on hand. Picked up a couple of pears as well. I picked up the Trader Joe's oat milk. I want to get back into making overnight oats for breakfast, and really like this for matcha lattes at home. I grabbed a refill of the pesto. This stuff is so good. I think this is the best like jarred pesto on the market. I've probably only tried 3, but of those 3, this is my favorite. Then I just picked up a chicken breast, which I have a couple of like random vegetables in my fridge, so I'll probably make that with the chicken, and then like rice or couscous, some carb with that at some point this week. And then the last thing I picked up were 2 bottles of green tea. I understand that this is kind of unnecessary, and you could just brew green tea at home for much cheaper and without the consumption of glass, but I don't know, something about this green tea specifically is so good, and I feel like I've been drinking too much sugar lately, like just unnecessary amounts of ginger ale specifically, and half the time I don't even want it. I've just conditioned myself into thinking I want a ginger ale. So I'm trying to get better about swapping that, especially at night, like not eating a bunch of sugar right before bed, because I feel like it just doesn't make me feel good. So I really like this. I feel like it's better than most green teas I've tried. It's somehow sweeter than most green teas, even though there's no added sugar. It must be the specific leaves that they use to brew. So I picked up 2 of these as well. Definitely a little bit random of an assortment of things, but I feel like I don't even know what I make for meals. It's just the days come and go and I somehow eat 3 meals a day. So this time next week, most of this food will be gone, and I can't really explain how we get from point A to point B, but we always do.